Hello friends, welcome back to our YouTube channel Nastin Padasali. So in this video we are going to study about the part 4 of the secondary metabolite. So already I had uploaded what is mean by secondary metabolite and types of secondary metabolite and a separate video regarding terpenes and a separate video regarding your phenolics. So last secondary metabolite is your nitrogen containing compound. So if we complete, we can study your previous year question paper, friends. So this nitrogen containing compounds are classified into 4 different types. That is your alkaloid, cyanogenic glycoside, glucosinolate, glucosinolates and your non-protein amino acid. So first we'll study about your alkaloids. Alkaloids are having a heterocyclic ring made up of nitrogen compound and your carbon compound. And as per the name, these alkaloids are having a alkaline pH. That is, when those alkaloids that are produced in cytosol will have a pH of 7.2 and those that are produced in vacuoles will have a pH of 5 to 6. And these alkaloids are generally positively charged and they are soluble in water. The major precursor compound for producing this alkaloid is your amino acid. So 3 amino acids are acting as a precursor. One is lysine, next one is tyrosine, next one is tryptophan. Okay, so these alkaloids will have a medicinal property and non-medicinal property. So your morphine, codicin, scopolamine are having a medicinal property, whereas your cocaine, nicotine, caffeine are also alkaloid, but they are not having any kind of medicinal properties. And if you take your plant physiology book test, that is page number 298, you will have this table number 13.3, major type of alkaloid, their amino acid precursor, example and the human uses, friends. So if you take propane, the structure will be given and the biosynthetic precursor is your ornithine, example is your atropine and cocaine. This atropine is used for dilation of pupils for examination, whereas your cocaine is acting as a stimulant for CNS activity. Likewise, you should study all these things. This particular table is very important, friends. Okay. All alkaloid will interfere with the nervous system. Most importantly, they will block the chemical transmitter. So, okay, so generally they will be having a non-toxic form. Only when they are in the herbivore system, they will convert it into a toxic form. So in the plant, they will be a non-toxic N-oxide. Whenever they are get inside the herbivore, they will become reduced and they will loses the positive charge and they form a hydrophobic in nature. And as a result, they will become toxic in nature. Okay, so let me share with you how this particular thing is working. So this is the 2 form of your pyrolysin, which is an alkaloid in nature. So first N-oxide, which is a non-toxic form and it is stored in plant and they will be reduced in digestive tract of more herbivores to form toxic form. So the toxic form is your tertiary alkaloid. Okay, so again in some plants or in some herbivore, that is sheep, will have a mechanism to convert this toxic form of alkaloids into a non-toxic form of N-oxide. That is, this toxic form will be oxidized by certain adaptive mechanism in herbivore to form the non-toxic form back. Okay, so few plants will have this kind of mechanism in them. It is a kind of herbivore adaptation. Okay, so next N containing compound is your cyanogenic glycoside, which will release a poison called hydrogen cyanide. So this cyanogenic glycosides are generally, they are not toxic themselves. When they will become toxic means if we crush the particular plant or if we break them or if we tear them, then it will release the poisonous hydrogen cyanide. So let me tell you how this poisonous hydrogen cyanide been produced. So CG, cyanogenic glycoside, the presence of glucosidase enzyme, it will cleave a sugar molecule. As a result, it will form cyanohydride, which is also called alpha hydroxynitrile, friends. So this alpha hydroxynitrile in the presence of hydroxynitrile lyase enzyme will form a hydrogen cyanide. This hydrogen cyanide will inhibit the metalloprotein, which are those protein that have a metal in their group. Okay, example is here cytochrome. So this hydrogen cyanide will inhibit the cytochrome. As a result, your mitochondrial respiration will get disrupted. So this hydrogen cyanide formation has been detailedly given in your plant physiology by Tice book. So here you can see what we dealt. Cyanogenic glycoside. So sugar molecule is there in the cyanogenic glycoside. So in the presence of glycosidases, the sugar molecule will get fall off. As a result, it will form cyanohydrin. So this cyanohydrin in the presence of hydroxy nitrase enzyme, it will form hydrogen cyanide. And this is acting against the metalloprotein. Next thing is your glucosinolates will be okay. It will release volatile toxin. Volatile toxin are those toxin that are dissolving in the air. Example, this glucosinolates are highly present in Brassiaceae family, that is your mustard family. And if you smell your cabbage, broccoli and radishes, so the smell of your cabbage, broccolis, radishes. So if you cook radishes, then you will literally know how the smell about. So the smell, it is a bad smell. That is because of this glucosinolate. So how this particular toxins are produced? So your glucosinolate, in the presence of thioglucosidases enzyme, it will cleave the glucose molecule. Okay, this thioglucose is also called myrosinase. Okay, as a result, the glucose molecule get degraded and it will lead to the formation of A-glycone, which means no glucose. Okay, this A-glycone will release the sulfur molecule in it and it will form isothiocyanate and your nitrile. This is because this will lead to a production of your pungent smell of your radishes and your cabbages. Okay, and these two are involved in toxic defense against herbivore, and also they act as a feeding repellent. So let me show you about the mechanism of glucosinolates. Okay, so this one is from Tice. So glucosinolate, if you see, here is a glucose structure and here is a sulfur structure. Okay, and this thioglucosinate will release the glucose. As a result, glucose will get degraded. So it is a glycone structure. So again, due to spontaneous mechanism, the sulfur molecule will also get released. As a result, it will form isothiocyanate and your nitrile molecule. Okay, so both the things are involved in acting against the herbivore and a feeding repellent. So the last one is that non-protein amino acid defend against herbivore. Okay, so this is the last thing we are going to study about this N-containing molecule. So plants and animals are generally having a 20 amino acids in the protein. So you all know about 20 amino acids which are making up the protein. Okay, and many plants will have an unusual amino acid. So if you take a humans, we have a unusual amino acids like your selenocysteine, like that we will have a non-protein amino acids will be having. So they are not being involved in present in protein usually. Okay, and your other amino acids, okay, these are non-protein and they are not incorporated into the protein. As a result, they are not being involved in the growth of a plant. But these are present in the free form and they are acting as a protective substances. They have a very similar structure just like your protein. If you take canavanine, it is a protein and it is a close analog of your arginine amino acid. And if you taken this acetidine 2-carboxylic acid, it will have a same structure as that of a proline. So these two are a non-protein amino acid. Okay, so these will block the synthesis and uptake of protein amino acid. So now we'll see about the mechanism by which this non-protein amino acid will defend against the herbivore. Okay, so sometimes this non-protein compound, since they have a same structure as that of your normal amino acid, which are involved in producing a protein for various mechanisms. Okay, this non-protein amino acid will be mistakenly incorporated into the protein. Okay, so they are non-functional at all, friends. Okay, so after ingestion, your Canavalin, if you take, it will be recognized by the herbivore enzyme and it will think, okay, it is an amino acid and we need to give that particular thing to a tRNA so that proteins will be produced. Okay, as a result, it will lead to a formation of a non-functional protein. Okay, because it is a non-functional and it won't have any function at all, because the tertiary structure will be disrupted and your catalytic site will be disrupted. Okay, as a result, your protein synthesis will be altered. So herbivore which have taken this canavalin will have a growth symptoms and it will loses its growth and it have other kind of disadvantages like that. So this thing, up to this we are completing all the important secondary metabolites. We studied about the mechanism of action of secondary metabolite, the biosynthetic pathway of secondary metabolite, and also which particular family is producing those secondary metabolites, right? So the next part of video definitely we'll study and we will do some we'll work out previous year question paper. Okay, so that's it for today's video, friend. Thank you.